Hi, I'd like to welcome you to the third video in this free video series, Get Unstuck, How to Overcome Unwanted Life Experiences. My name's Bradley Grennan. I am the founder and creator of Own Your Life, and I'm also a life coach and a mentor. And I first wanted to start out with this final video in the series by thanking you. I want to thank you for the interactions that we've had together. I have been overwhelmed with your response and deeply touched and honored. And here's why. Because as we've gone through these first two videos, many of you have written to me and contacted me and shared your story, and we've begun a conversation. What honors me is your level of transparency and your level of vulnerability. I've heard from some of you who have just recently dealt with foreclosure, and you've been honest about the pain of that and what that has meant to you and how you've seen yourself and how you've had to adjust and how you felt stuck in that. And I'm moved that you share with me honestly. I am moved by that. Some of you have shared, I spoke with one woman who shared about how she just lost her job about 3 months ago and what that has meant to her and her identity and how she's trying to deal with that and how this video series has helped her. And again, I'm honored. And I spoke with a man who lost his son. And it's just, I can't imagine losing one of my children. And the courage that this man has to deal with the pain and to choose to move forward, it blows me away. And I am honored to share these stories with you and to hear you, and especially the way you've been vulnerable and transparent. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And what you've shared with me will make this online course that we're going to talk about in a little bit be that much better. And you are helping other people already. I hope that this series, the Get Unstuck, How to Overcome Unwanted Life Experiences series that is free for you, I hope it has helped you to just take one or two steps forward, or even to just come to the decision, like we talked about in the last video, to choose to move forward, to choose to get unstuck. In that first video that I shared with you, I let you know about some of the unwanted life experiences that I've had to deal with. And I went into some depth there because I felt like it was important for you to understand that I know what it means to get stuck. I know what it means to deal with pain, and I know what it means to deal with despair. And I found my way through it. In the second video, we talked not just about the how. In fact, we talked very little about the how. We talked about the why. Why do you need to get unstuck? Why do you make that choice? And we explored some of Viktor Frankl's work and his life story and the courage that that man had in dealing with the unwanted life experience of being sent to a Jewish concentration camp, losing his wife, his mother, and his brother in the gas chambers, and how he chose to live a life that had a purpose and a meaning to help others, and how he chose to attach a powerful meaning to what he was going through at the time because he knew he might survive and he didn't want to just creep through the rest of his life. It's powerful. He went on to remarry. He went on to help thousands and thousands of people deal with their own pain and suffering and despair. And that was really, his story is really powerful for me. And I hope it helped you attach a powerful meaning to your suffering and choose to move beyond it and to help others. So having dealt with my story, having dealt with Viktor Frankl's story and the why you should choose so that you can help the other people in your life that need you to move forward, so that you can not experience what your life would be like if 5 years from now you didn't choose to move forward, so that you could help others because of what's happened to you. Now I want to get to the how. Now, we're going to move kind of fast because there's 5 steps that I want to get through, and I don't want this video to be too long so that you don't watch it because it's just too much. But we're going to deal with the 5 steps for how you get unstuck. And the first one is really simple. We've already talked about it. That first one is that you've got to make a choice to move forward. And I believe we've really kind of dug into that as much as we need to in this video series. Again, it's your choice. Are you going to move forward? How do you live the kind of life that you want to live? The second step in moving forward is a little more involved, and it will take some courage. None of this is going to be easy, but it's not complicated. Step number 2, you've got to deal with the pain. The pain from the experiences that you've had. It's there if you want to acknowledge that pain or not. It won't go away because you hide from it. I know, because I try to hide from my pain. These unwanted life experiences happened to me. And the first thing I did, and it's completely natural, and it's completely normal, and it's a survival mode, but the first thing I did was I closed down. I didn't want to feel the pain. I didn't want to deal with the pain. But here's the thing about painful energy. It's coming to you. And if you close down around it, you will trap it there, and it will be with you until you decide to deal with it. You could decide to deal with it right away, or you could decide to deal with it 5 years after this painful life experience has happened to you. But either way, until you deal with that pain, it's not going to go away. Here's something else that happens. As you close down to that pain, you not only close down to the negative feelings, those painful feelings, but you also close down to positive feelings. And you close down to the divine inspiration and grace and hope that God wants to give you during this painful experience. But if you can stay open, deal with that pain, and I promise that pain won't kill you, even though at times it does feel like it's going to completely overwhelm you. It may even feel like a hot, burning poker coming right through your chest. It still won't kill you. And when that pain has passed, it begins to dissipate. And if you can stay open to that pain, you'll also be staying open to the energy and the grace and the hope and the love that God wants to give you to deal with this experience. So deal with that pain. Maybe you need to talk to somebody during this process. Someone safe, someone you trust, someone you know cares about you and wants to see the best for you. Could be a relative, could be a close friend, could be a therapist. Absolutely worthwhile. You've got to have somebody that you can talk to about this pain during this step. Because as you share in a safe environment what's happened to you and what you're dealing with, you will begin to feel better about the experience. You reshape that experience by sharing it in a safe environment. So again, deal with the pain, find someone that you can talk to. We're going to get more to that in a minute. The third thing, and this is no surprise, you're going to be like, oh, I knew he was going to say that as soon as I write it on the board. But it's something we have to do. We have to forgive. We have to forgive. Now, if you're going through an unwanted life experience, there may be several people that you feel like have hurt you. That's understandable. When my house was foreclosed on, I was mad at the bank. I tried to work with them. I gave them so many different options of here's how I could continue paying you and you could get what you have put into this house monetarily wise. But they didn't want to work with me and I was angry. I had to forgive them. I don't know what's happened to you. Maybe you've been laid off and you're angry with your boss or with your company. Maybe you've been cheated on and you're angry with your spouse. Maybe you've been betrayed by a friend and you're angry with that person. Maybe you're angry with a person or a loved one that you've lost because of decisions that they've made. I don't know who you're angry with. I don't know who has hurt you. But I know if you don't forgive them, you will not move past this pain. You will stay stuck. This is something I tell my clients all the time. Forgiveness isn't for the person you're forgiving. It's for you. You forgive so you can move on. If you hang on to the bitterness and the anger and the hurt, and every time you think about it, you hate this person or that person, you will not move past this pain. And I want that for you. And I think you want that for you. How do you do that? You make a choice. Even if you don't feel like it, you choose to forgive. Not for them, but for you. Now, you may not feel like it today, but you choose to forgive. You may not feel like it tomorrow, but as that pain comes up again, you choose to forgive again. And the third day, and the fourth day, and so on. Eventually, you will completely let go, and you will completely forgive because you made the choice. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Forgiveness doesn't mean continuing to put yourself in harm's way. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you don't seek ramification for maybe some of the consequences that you're dealing with. But it does mean that you say, it's okay. I'm going to move forward. My life is going to be better. And I forgive you. And you don't even have to let that person know. Forgiveness, it's for you. Second part of forgiveness, and this is where I find most people end up getting stuck, is you may have made some decisions that got you to where you are. You may have made some mistakes. I know I've made mistakes. I know I've made poor decisions that got me into some of these unwanted life experiences. If you don't choose to forgive yourself and say something like, even though I made these poor decisions, I forgive myself, and I accept myself, and I love myself. You've got to be able to offer grace to yourself, because if you don't, you won't get unstuck. And that's what we want here. That's why we're doing this. So forgive others and forgive yourself. That leads us to the fourth step. Discover what you want. What do you want in your life now, moving forward after this unwanted life experience? A lot of people never ask themselves, what do I truly want? They've been raised with their parents' expectations and they've always just accepted them, or maybe they've been raised with their community's expectations or with their church's expectations or other people's expectations, other people's agenda for their life. But now that they've come through something maybe tragic or something that is a difficult circumstance and they've had this unwanted life experience, they're now free to choose to discover what they want their life to look like. And here's a simple way that you can begin to jumpstart that process. Sit down and write out, what are 7 possible great outcomes that could come from this unwanted life experience? What are 7 to 10 possible, positive, good, or great outcomes that could happen as a result of this unwanted life experience? And as you begin to list those, and sometimes you might feel like you're reaching, and that's okay. You just want to find out what are the possible good things that could come from this. That will help you begin to hope. That will help you begin to see the potential for what could your life look like. And you can discover what you want. We're really going to hit this one in the online course that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Discover, what do you want your life to look like? And then The next one is pretty simple. Develop a plan for how to get there. Now, I like to use reverse engineering whenever I'm developing a plan. You discover what you want, and you begin to picture what that might look like 1 year, 2 year, 5 years out. And then you determine, well, what would have to happen between now and then to get there? And you move back, well, this would have to happen before I got to that final stage or that final place. And it's not an end, because our life is a continuous journey, but it is for the 1 year or the 5 year. What would have to happen? Well, this would have to happen. And then you say, well, what would have to happen in order for that to come about? Well, these 3 things would have to happen. Well, what would I have to do to make those 3 things happen? And you keep moving back until you get to where you are today. And once you have that written out, you have your first step, your action step that can be taken to move towards that new life, to move in the direction of what you want. Maybe it's as simple as, I need to start talking to somebody. I need to hire a therapist, or I need to become more involved in a community group. It all depends on what you're experiencing. If part of what's gotten you stuck is an addiction, you may have to seek counseling and a safe environment like AA in order to be able to make those next steps. But I like to reverse engineer, and we're going to hit on that. Make a plan. So first, you choose to move forward. Then you deal with the pain. Then you've got to forgive others and forgive yourself. Then you've got to discover what you want your life to look like, and then develop a plan. And again, I like to reverse engineer for the developing those plans. I want to thank you for the time you spent here. I hope that these videos help you move forward. If you can just take 1 or 2 steps, even if your only step is that you chose to move forward and you determined, I'm going to find a way to attach a powerful meaning to this, that is awesome. That is what I want to help other people because of what I've been through. I am going to be opening up enrollment for our 4-week online course starting tomorrow. I'll open enrollment and you can join the class. And what I'm going to be doing is simply walking with you through these steps. It's simple. There's a lot more unpacking to do, and I want to do that in the course, and I invite you to join me. Now, maybe you've found enough inspiration to move forward without this class. That's awesome. That's why I developed this free video series, to help as many people as possible. But if you feel like, I want to, and I've made that choice, but I just don't know enough yet, I'm still a little hazy on how I do that, I am going to walk everyone through these 5 steps. And each week, each call that we get on, I will be unpacking this a little bit more, each of these steps, and I will walk a different person through each step. We'll listen to what's happened to you, and we will talk about how you can move forward. That happens when you're part of the online class live. In case you can't make the class, which will probably happen in the evening, you can download a recording of that class. The only drawback is you wouldn't be able to ask your questions live, but there are other avenues for you to ask the questions that you want to get answers to. I'm also going to open up a private Facebook group. Now, this is important. This will be a safe place, moderated by me, where we can together share as an online community what's happening, how we've decided to move forward, where we're at in the process. And it won't be just me leading. It will be all of us sharing together, giving input, and helping each other. You don't have to join that online, safe, private group, but you're welcome to, and you'll be invited to. As all courses are, the outcome is completely up to you. I can't make you do any of these things, and I don't want to make you do them. That's not how it works. You've got to want to, and whatever you put into it, you're obviously going to get out of it. As cliche as that sounds, it's true. That's why it's called a cliche. Don't take this class to see if you can move forward. Take it and enroll in it as a statement that you are going to move forward and get unstuck. Now tomorrow, I'll open enrollment for these 4 classes. I am not going to have an open class all year. I'm going to teach it for 4 weeks. So there's a limited time for you to get into this class. It's going to be 1 week from tomorrow. I will close enrollment. Now I'll send you an email with the link to the page for open enrollment. And you will be able to enroll in this online course. And if I don't have your email address, if you landed on this video page without submitting your email address, just click on the first video at the top of this page. That will take you to a form where you can enter your email address. Just click Access Video on that page and you'll get the information. And as soon as the class opens, I encourage you, join it, enroll with us as we go through this class together. I'm expecting powerful things out of it, and I hope you are too. Thank you so much for your time in watching these videos. I hope you found something that you can grab onto and use as leverage to move forward and get unstuck. Would you do me a couple favors? If you liked this video, would you like this page so people can hear about it? And then if you know somebody who could use some help getting unstuck, would you share this with them and maybe even go as far as leaving a comment at the bottom of this page about what you've gotten out of this free video series? I would love it. That would help me help spread the word to help others. Thank you so much for your time, for your participation, for sharing your stories and the interaction we've had. I've completely enjoyed this entire process. And I look forward to seeing you in the class, Get Unstuck, How to Overcome Unwanted Life Experiences. Thanks a lot.